Jamaica now has a new task force to help tackle crime and violence as it escalates in the country. Hi again and welcome. This is Links 007 TV News Report, and we'll be right back with the full details to come. Welcome to Links 007 TV News Report, providing you with the best in local and international news updates. This is a place where you can get the most reliable and informative news information. Links 007 TV News Report. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. This is Links 007 TV News Report. The nation's security forces have trained a new type of hybrid crime fighter that will man the new joint anti-gang task force. The new personnel are trained as soldiers and police to tackle the nation's gang and gun problem. During a press briefing this week, Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson noted that the task force has so far seized approximately 7 firearms and over 1,200 pounds of marijuana and arrested 20 persons for various offenses, including gang activities and also lottery scamming.
We're launching this officially today, but the task force has been in operation now for a week, and over that week we have seized 7 illegal firearms, 1,200 pounds of compressed ganja. We have disrupted a illegal alcohol operation that was funding a particular gang, and we have arrested 4 persons for lottery scamming and another 16 of them to make a total of 20 persons who are involved in violence and crime. Now, the way the Joint Task Force works, none of these were achieved only by themselves. We work with the Lotto Scam Task Force, we work with CTOC, we work with territorial police, i.e. the police in the various divisions and areas. And it gives them, each one of these, far more capacity when they need it to deal with situations that can become or are highly violent. Now, to get to this point required a fair amount of planning and work. And the planning started with creating at specialized operations enough officers who are trained to the level where they can, one, work seamlessly with the Jamaica Defense Force, but also work in a high violence environment and do it well, because they have that skill and that training. As part of that, we have recruited some 70 plus persons, young Jamaicans, who had gone through the Jamaica National Service Corps program. They trained for a year or so as soldiers, and then we recruited them and ran them through the entire police training program. So these are qualified soldiers, qualified police officers, and they make up part of the task force and are familiar and comfortable in both the military environment and the policing environment. And that's part of creating the synergies to work more effectively as a joint group. On top of that, I attended a graduation and actually spoke at it in December. They graduated, I think it was December the 23rd or something like that, of 2021. A cadre of sub-officers of the JCF who can lead this group. They were tested physically, mentally, and also taught a number of skill sets that would enable them to lead these youngsters who had been trained to that level. These sub-officers are also, physically we tested them at military standards and they met those standards pretty well. And so we have a cadre now that works with the JDF and can seamlessly do this work. And hence, we're seeing those sorts of results, which is what we want.
The Police Commissioner, Major General Anthony Anderson, was also quizzed in relation to what the police force is doing in order to tackle scammers, as they are one of the main contributors to crime and violence in Jamaica. He was also quizzed in relation to how these scammers are migrating to various parts of the country, especially to upscale communities. This was what the commissioner had to say.
The Lottery Scam Task Force has been operating all along. As you see, working with the Joint Task Force, some of the people we've arrested are actually lottery scammers. So the work against lottery scamming has been ongoing. I think it's only recently, as we've emphasized it, that people are starting to make the connection between this activity that people thought was, oh, well, it's almost a victimless crime, or the victim is in another country and it's providing money into a community. People are just making the connection between the violence that comes with the lottery scamming and that money and lottery scamming itself. The Lottery Scam Task Force has been doing its operations all along. They have sort of re-energized some of those operations as they're working with partners. It's been ongoing with our foreign partners and also the other departments of the force to deal with this matter of lottery scamming and the money from it. At the next press briefing that I do, as I said, there are some other things being done. I'll speak a bit more about that money and how we intend to take it from the gunmen and these gangs. So lottery scamming has become that funding entity. It's not done uniquely by the Lottery Scamming Task Force. It's an offense, and other departments of the force actually do it as well. And also MOCA also targets lottery scamming. We have had a number of extraditions around lottery scamming, and the work continues. It's very pervasive in the society, and people don't respond to it sometimes in the same way as they respond to other crimes, like violent crimes. So they don't as readily give up that information. But I'd just like to appeal to the public that lottery scamming is also a significant problem in this. It provides the funds to buy the guns that creates the gunmen and the gangs, the things that terrorize communities and create mayhem in our society. The police force is a creature of law. There's a reason why we constantly advocate for changes in laws. And perhaps we have to do some changes in the laws around lottery scammers to deal with that. There's nothing that prevents a Jamaican citizen from going or moving anywhere in Jamaica. So you will find as the wealth increases that they're going to be moving around, and it's a sort of crime that you can do from almost anywhere that you have a connection, that you can get on a phone or another device and communicate. So our job and what we've been doing is collecting more and more intelligence on them and their activities. We're working with partners and with organizations to see the patterns of their behavior, and that is why what we're recovering is, in one instance, 53 lead lists. Lead lists all over the place. We're getting them. We're interrupting these scamming activities. Ultimately, however, they're going to be put before the courts, and depending on the sentencing or the regime that they're exposed to, they will either get back into business quickly or they'll be away for a while anticipating alternates to lottery scamming. So from a policing perspective, we use the law, the intelligence, and the operations and skills that we have to deal with lottery scamming. We see it as a significant part of the overall problem, and so we're quite focused on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we take one more question? You have a question online? All right. So it seems if we have no more questions, so we want to thank all the persons for participating in the launch of the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force. And we look forward to the collaboration that our leaders spoke about. We want to ensure that as we go about carrying out our daily task, we are inspiring and we are gaining public public's confidence and support. And the focus of this task force is really around the whole question of gang, guns, and gunmen. It is the intention of the task force to disrupt and dismantle these gangs, to seize the guns that are out there, all those illegal guns, to ensure that the persons responsible are held accountable and brought to justice. There's no question about the capability of this team based on the representation made by the leaders. All the persons are highly trained and prepared and ready. And we want to thank all our viewers and all the media partners for participating in today's activities. Thank you.
As the country awaits the rolling out of this task force across the country, many are hoping that it will bring some change as it relates to the crime and violence situation plaguing Jamaica. This has been Links 007 TV News Report, and we will continue to track this story and provide you with the latest information to come on this. Thanks for watching.